Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm the EDPM boss. Now, this video will be focused on giving you a little final preparation going into the EDPM exam practical paper. All right. So what we're basically going to do is just give it some key tips and possibly what to expect going into the exam. Now, some persons may be nervous, some persons may be anxious, but trust me, after watching this video, you will feel much more confident going into that exam. All right. So enough said, we're just going to get right into it. Now, first students, I must say, turn up to your exam early, turn up to your exam on time, listen to the instructions of the invigilators, right? Even though we're going to give you a few tips, as we said, still follow the instructions of the invigilators. All right, don't go ahead and do anything, right, without the invigilators instruction. All right, but yes. So firstly, we must say that we must inform you that EDPM is basically an online exam, right? It's one of a few online exams that CXC has implemented, right? And what we mean when we say it's an online exam, you're actually going to be required to use the internet to upload your completed questions. All right. So upon typing up your questions, typing up and preparing your documents, you're going to be required to upload those questions, those completed documents on our website. So first thing we're going to do is to show you the website or show you a demo of the website so you have an idea of what to expect going into the exam and doing the uploading of the questions. All right, so let's go. All right, so on screen, hope everybody is seeing on screen, you're seeing test delivery. Please enter your 8-character key code. Now, when you go to the exam room, what will happen is you won't sit at any random computer. There'll be a specific computer for you, right? So you will look for your name, you will look for your e-code, right? You don't sit beside your friend. It's not random seating, right? You will sit specifically at where your name is taped on a desk in front of a computer. All right. So you will see a key code, the same key code that they're asking for here, right? That key code will be taped on the desk as well. All right. So the invigilator will surely instruct you to go on the website, or they will already bring it up for you. So it will be displayed on the screen. All right. Now, you do not enter the key code until the invigilators tell you. All right. We're just going to show you how the website will look so you have an idea. All right. And remember, this is a demo provided by CXC. All right. For the EDPM exam, if we want to be specific. Now I'm just going to I'm just going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. As they say, 8-character code. All right. So I'm just going to press OK. Then the next thing that you see, as we say, last name, first name, and so forth. Ensure that it is your name displayed there. Right. You see the name of the test and you see language English. You press confirm. Right. You know, they have some terms right here. You check that box. You press continue. And as you're seeing on screen now, question 1. Right. So remember I said you will get the physical paper, of course, right? You will get the physical paper, of course. However, you will also see displayed on screen when you enter the website, the actual paper, right? So the same paper that you have physically, you will see it online, right? So as you know, the question 1 is always a speed test, right? And as you see right here, speed test, right? This is from the specimen paper, of course, right? So this is how the website looks. So upon completing your question 1, upon typing up your question 1, you're going to scroll down to the end, right? So you scroll down and right here you see it says upload question 1 file here. File must be in Word format. So your completed question 1, your completed speed test, you're going to upload it right here in this section. All right. So you go choose file. You look for the particular file. Let's say the file, this is the name of the file. You click on it, you press open. All right. Now, as you're seeing, it's being uploaded. But it won't actually get uploaded. All right. As remember, we said it's a demo. All right. This is actually a demo. So I'm just going to press close as it won't get uploaded. But upon you doing it, it will be displayed right here. So the question will be displayed right here. Or the completed file will be displayed right here. All right, students. So after doing that, you move right ahead to your next question. So you can click next or you can click two, but we'll just work with next. So you click next, right? The second question, right? Question two will be displayed here, right? The same exact question that you have displayed on screen is the same exact question that will be displayed on your physical copy, all right? So what you will do, same procedure. After completing your question, you scroll down to the end. So it says upload question two files here. Choose file. You look for the file. Let's say this is it. Click on it. Press open. Right? Your file is being uploaded. When it finishes, you will see the file displayed here. Right? So you do that procedure over and over, students. Do that procedure over and over. That's question, put next question here, upload next question there, right? So it's just gonna skip through. All right. So it's the same procedure over and over. So upon you completing all questions, when you finish, right, you would basically click finish test right here. Now, before I click finish test, I just want to drag your attention to something that I should have said from before, right? Now, as you see displayed up at the top right here, total test time remaining. Now, the moment you sign into the website, the moment you log into the website and the test begins, the question one pops up, the time will start running, right? So you know that you get 2 hours and 20 minutes for the exam, right? So you will see it says 2 hours, 20 minutes, right? And the time will start running, right? So, that's there not to scare you, but to inform you that that's the amount of time that you have left. So you got to use your time wisely. All right. Now, what I encourage you to do, students, is always upload the questions, right? Upload your completed documents as soon as you have finished it. So as soon as you finish question one, upload it. Finish question two, upload it. Finish question three, and so forth, right? Do it as soon as you finish a question. Do not wait. This is my suggestion. Do not wait until the end of the exam or until you're finished every single question to say you're going to upload them one by one afterwards, right? All kind of things can happen, glitches can happen, anything can happen to the website. So ensure that you upload the questions as soon as you finish them. Coming to the end of the exam, things always happen, right? And you don't want to be wondering whether or not you would get a grade, stuff like that. So just upload your questions, right, as soon as you complete them. All right. So let's move. So we're gonna press finish test, right? If we're complete, they're asking you, are you sure you'd like to finish the test? Right? You say yes, you press finish. They say to you, if you select finish, your answers will be submitted, right? So you get two chances. So you can't say it's a mistake if you click finish, right? Got two chances. So you press finish if you are actually finished, and it will say you have completed this test. You may now close the browser window. All right. So you can't go back to the test. All right. You have submitted your questions. All right, students. So that's the website. All right. So I hope you have a little heads up. All right. Hope you understand the website and what you will be expected to do, right? Going into the exam as it relates to uploading your completed documents. All right. So I'm just going to move on now. We're going to look at some papers. we're going to basically look at some common questions, right? Some questions that basically always comes. Now, not the exact question, but the structure or the format of the questions. All right. Just to give you, a little advantage going into the exam so that, these questions, you quickly brush them over. All right. You don't hesitate, just quickly brush them over. All right. So we're just going to display some questions for you. We're going to look at the 2018 paper. We're going to look at the 2019 paper. We're going to see if we can look at the 2023 paper as it was the last year, right? So it's the most recent paper that we would have access to. So that's what we're going to do, all right? So let me just display the first paper, which is the 2018. So hold on a little. All right, so 2018 paper. All right, so the 2018 paper, students, right? Most of the papers are similar in structure, all right? Or I should say have some questions which are similar in structure. Now, the first question, everybody should know this by now because, you're supposed to be going through past papers with your teachers. So by now, everyone must know that the first question is always a speed test, right? Now, what's the speed test? You get a passage to type, right? You get 10 minutes to type and it's 10 marks, all right? So this question is focused on speed and accuracy, all right? So when attempting this question, the instructions are most times the same. Type in double line spacing, use all margins of 1 inch, times in Roman size 12. Now, as you see, the paragraphs are in indented style. No instruction was there to say indented style. You must look at it and know that it is indented style and apply as you see, right? So students, the first thing you do when you go to start your speed test, so you put the document, the blank Microsoft Word document, Times New Roman size 12, double line spacing. The margins by default will be on 1 inch all around, right? But you can double check just to be sure, right? So you type your heading and you place it in indented style, pressing the tab key to move half inch away from the margin. Now from you type the first paragraph, automatically when you skip to a new paragraph, when you press the enter key, it will automatically move away from the margin. All right. Now remember, all the paragraphs, the first line of all paragraphs must move away from the margin. So you can't have block style and a mixture with indented style. It's one style, students. All right. Must be consistent. All right. So type as fast as you can. My instruction is, or my recommendation is type as fast as you can. Right. Type as much as you can. When the time has ended, right? As we say, you get 10 minutes. When the time has ended, what I encourage you to do is to try to fix the corrections. Don't waste your time so you're going to type more information. It makes no sense to type every single thing, but have countless amount of errors. Makes no sense, right? So type as much as you can, and it must be as accurate as it can be, right? So use the time when the invigilator said time's up, right? Try to just, right click on the words that may have blue line or green line or red line. So right click on them and you will see the suggested correction. Sometimes, may have an extra space, right? You might misspell a word, stuff like that, right? So just go through and fix those so that you have an actual accurate document. Even if it's not the entire document, you have a portion that is actually accurate. All right, so that's my tip for speed test question 1. And as I said, the question 1 is always the same instructor. All right, most times I should say, we can check the other papers, the structure is most times the same. All right, so we're going to move now to our question 2. Now, our question 2 is another common one, right? Letter. Now, the letters that are given, right? Most times our question 2, as we said from before, and the structure is somewhat similar for the papers, all right? We're going to look at that. Now, this one, as you're seeing, The instruction says we're going to use A4 or letter size paper. We're going to create a suitable letterhead with an appropriate logo based on the information provided. All right. So this right here is the letterhead, the name of the place, their address, their telephone number, their email address, and logo. We know that those are the elements that will make up a letterhead. All right. But no logo is given. You would have to insert an appropriate logo. All right. After that, the instructions are using letter that you created, type the letter on page 3 in semi-block style with the following margins. All right. So we see the margins there. We have to set them as instructed. All right. So that's what we're going to focus on. So the other paper students, you can check, right? Majority of them, same structure. Type the document, right? Using type the document with the letterhead that is displayed, use an appropriate logo, the margins are similar, right? Stuff like that. So it's the same structure. So if you have been practicing the papers, you should have no problem formatting it, right? You should have no problem with the formatting and layout features, right? So basically, we're just going to show you what to do with this question. So the letterhead, the letterhead usually goes in the header section of the page, right? So let me just show you. So basically, what will happen, as you see right here, this is the name of the school, the address, telephone number, and email address. You're expected to insert a logo. So you're going to insert the logo in the header section. All right. So we're just going to go on the internet. As we say, it's an online exam. You should have internet, right? So we're going to go on the internet and we're going to get an image, right? A related image. So I just typed in the name of the school and I see a logo. I'm just going to use it, right? It can work. It's good enough. All right. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it right here. All right. Now, upon pasting the image, I'm just gonna change the wrap text, right, to in front text so I can easily format the image. I can easily move around the image and format it as I wish. All right, so I'm just gonna place it maybe right here. We can always place another one over here. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm just gonna copy this one, paste it over here. All right, so get it to look, somewhat similar. All right, students, so we get the logos, right, to look somewhat similar in formatting. You can always place it to the top. You can place it underneath the letterhead, right? It's up to you where you want to place them, all right? So upon doing that, you're just going to close the header section, right? It will look like this as you're seeing, right? You skip appropriate spacing, right? Try to skip 2 spaces after each element, right? I recommend, right? But basically, that's what you will do for the letterhead section. You change the margins. Everyone must know to change the margins. You go to layout, you go to margins, custom margins, and you will change them, right? I think it's a left and right, 1.25, and top and bottom is supposed to be on 1 inch, all right? So you will do that. Then afterwards, you will be required to type the actual letter, right? Other elements of the letter. So see, as you see right here, now important point to note, the layout style of the letter, right? Letters can be typed in block style, indented style, or we have semi-block style. Now we notice that majority of the time, it's either block style or semi-block style, all right? Now, semi-block style, the date, as you see right here, they have the date in the same line as the reference or ref, right? That's more over to the right. The complementary clause will also go to the right with the semi-block style. The paragraphs, though, the body of the letter, the paragraphs will actually start at the left margin, as seen right here, right? So that's what you will focus on doing if it's a semi-block style. If it's a block style letter, though, all elements will be positioned to the left. So, the date will actually go to the left, right? The complementary clause, which is the part that says yours sincerely, right? That part will also go to the left if it's a block style, right? Now, most times the letter questions are in manuscript format, right? So they have errors, they have some abbreviated words, right? Some abbreviations, I can say, right? And some manuscript signs and symbols for us to interpret and apply. So review your manuscript signs. You should know many signs by now, the common signs by now, so that you can make the necessary changes that are required. All right. So that's for the question 2 of the 2018 paper. All right. Now, question 2B is actually a program, a 2-page program. Now, this is something that is, we can say, common as well, right? It's a display work. Sometimes they may give you a brochure, they may give you a program. It might be a 2-page, a 3-page, right? It depends. So we're basically just going to look at what you're to do if you're supposed to get a question like this, whether it's a 3-page or a 2-page program or a brochure, right? So let me just show you what you will do. So let's look at the instructions, right? Equal left and right margins, right? That is school name in that particular font, send all information on the page, all right? So we're going to just show you what to do, what you're expected to do in creating this. Now, this is a program. Therefore, the first thing you need to do is to change the orientation of the page to landscape. Then you will simply separate the page into 2 separate columns, all right? So we're going to do that for you. Let me just open a blank Microsoft Word page. All right. So open your blank Microsoft page, Microsoft Word page, you go to layout and you go to orientation, change it to landscape so you have more space, right? The page is wider as you can see, right? But it has just been rotated. So we go to columns now. We can simply select 2 columns or we can go to more columns, select 2, right? If there are other options, if they required us to do other changes or other editing or formatting, right? This is where we will go, more columns, all right? We can add line between, which will show a separation between the columns, but that's not there, so we don't need to do that, all right? So we press OK, and we have 2 columns right here where we can display information. So let me just quickly look back at the actual program. All right. There's actually a line. So I'm going to I'm going to add the line between to it. All right. So let me go back. So you put the line between to show the separation. All right. So when type in your information displayed, let me just go back to the paper. When type in the information displayed, you see the questions are connected. It's the same Dunstan School of Hospitality and Tourism, right? So you will insert that as instructed. Right, Dunstan School of Hospitality. You know, you will center the information on the page, right, as instructed. When you're finished typing up your cover page or the first page or the first section, right, which is the first column, you can simply press enter until it automatically skips to the next column, or you can go to layout, you can go to breaks, and you can select column, and it will automatically go over to the second column, and you can continue typing your information. All right. So as seen here, as seen there on the document, right? All you have to do is just follow the instructions. There are a number of changes to be made, right? Basic instructions for you to follow. You should have no issue. All right. So we're gonna continue. Now, the next question was a PowerPoint question, right? Many persons must be confident in PowerPoint, right? You should have done PowerPoint for an SBA component, right? So I'm not going to look at a PowerPoint question. Right, we're going to focus on questions that come regularly. All right. Some questions that are key to you doing well in the exam. All right. So we're going to look at question 4B, which is a spreadsheet question. Now, spreadsheet question most times is the most challenging question on the paper. All right. Most of the time it's the most challenging question. Most of the times it carries majority of the marks. All right. So let's look at this. So we're going to prepare a spreadsheet document, right? This document down here, following all the instructions that are given. Now, as we're seeing, they're saying we should use portrait orientation, margins of 1 inch, center all column headings, use formula to calculate all totals, use formula to calculate balance due, format all dollar amounts as currency, create a column chart with title balance due, and we save it as records. Now, this is where some persons may be wondering, what am I to do, right? Now, in order to perform a mathematical calculation, there are specific formula that you will have to use, right? Now, equal sum, right? Equal sum is a common formula for addition, for subtraction, for division, and for multiplication. Only thing that changes is the operand or the sign, we should say, right? So when you want to add up something, you can use the plus sign. It's the same equal sum. You want to minus, you still use the equal sum, but you use the minus sign. You want to multiply something, it's the same equal sum. However, you use the multiplication sign as the difference, all right? So we're going to actually look at that, all right? We're going to format dollar amounts as currency, and we're going to create a column chart. All right. Now, upon typing out this information, now first thing I instruct persons to do is to determine from where to where you will merge to insert the heading. Now, we can say A, B, C, D, E, F. All right. So it's A to F we would merge in order to type this heading in, right? Or these two headings. Now, we couldn't say A, B, C, D because this cell or these cells were actually merged to turn one cell, all right? So this is what we will use. The section that has the most columns, all right? So we know it's A to F. We merge from A to F, all right? These are actually merged, right? So two columns are merged. If you notice, a line is here. So a line was supposed to be here as well, but they merged the cells. So two cells were merged down right here, two cells merged, and three cells merged across. All right. So you type the information as displayed. As you see, word names is displayed under students within the same cell. Now, you should know that the wrap text feature is what they use to actually do that, all right? So they use a wrap text feature in Microsoft Excel to do that. Now, what we want to do with this question is to find the balance due and afterwards the total. Total, but we can use AutoSum, but we want to use a formula to find balance due for each student. All right. So we can basically do this on our own. Right. Basically, what we want to know is how much is owed by each student. This is the amount that they paid, and this is the actual total cost that they're supposed to pay. So let's work with the first person. The first person, when you say Francis, so boarding fee 500, tuition fee 1500, 300 admin fee, right? So we know that that's 2,300 that has been paid, amount paid, and she's supposed to pay 5,714. Now, what we want to do in order to get the amount that is owed, of course, students, right? Simple thing. All we know is that we are going to minus the amount paid, right, from the total cost, all right? That is what we are going to do in order to get the balance due, all right? So you can check it on your calculators. It's best to, check it up in your head before you actually you apply the formula, right? So check it up in your head to have an idea of what is the figure you are to get. And then when you do the formula, you get the same figure, you know that it's actually right. All right. So by looking at this, all right, so 2,300 take away from 5,714. So we're supposed to get 3,414, I think. All right. Now we want to use formula to get that. So we're going to go to Excel. All right. Now I would have already created the spreadsheet, right? The spreadsheet, essence of time. I've already created the spreadsheet, right? So I'm just going to do the mathematical calculation and do the other formatting. I'll follow the other instructions that were given, all right? So first thing first, we want to minus the amount paid from the total cost. Now we have to put the bigger number at the front, as if we don't do that, we'll get a negative figure, right? So I'm just going to apply the formula. Remember, we said the same formula we will apply, equals sum, open bracket, right? And we're going to start off with the big figure, which is the total cost. So B5, and we're going to minus each of them in order to get our answer, all right? So minus C5 minus D5 minus E5. And we'll press enter. We don't have to close the bracket. All right. And as we said from before, it should be 414, sorry. Right. And that's what we actually got. So we're going to use the shortcut method. Right. We're just going to put the cursor at this little green box. So everybody's seeing it. Put the cursor at that little green box. Click and drag it down once. All right. And the formula will be automatically applied to the other cells, right? And you will get the answers, right? So upon doing that now, we're supposed to find the totals. So we're going to add up all of these. We can simply use AutoSum. I'm going to press AutoSum right there. Enlarge my screen. I'm going to use AutoSum right there. All right. I'm going to bring it right across. Let me fix this first. Now, if you do a calculation and you see number sign, a lot of number signs, that's because the cell is too small, right? Or the column is too small. So you just enlarge it. All right. There we go. So I'm just going to use the same shortcut method. All right. Drag it across and I get my answers. So I'm going to maximize, not maximize, but enlarge that cell, enlarge this cell as well. All right. And now we're good to go. All right. So those are the figures that we should actually have gotten. All right. Now, as it relates to the currency, right? An instruction was there that says apply currency format. Now, that's how it would look without, right? To apply the currency format, you don't type it, students, you actually apply it. All right. So you go to this section, you select currency, right? Monetary figures, as we see right here. All right. So the next thing that we were supposed to do is to sort it in alphabetical order. So we're going to highlight the name of each student, right, along with the figures that is aligned to them. All right. We're not going to insert the total in it, right? Just the figures along with the names aligned to each student. So we go to sort and filter. We're going to sort from A to Z. All right. So yes, it is sorted. Okima should be the first person. Xavier should be the last person. All right. The next thing that we're required to do is create a chart. Now let me just go back just to be sure. So we're going to create a chart. See what kind of chart? Create a column chart with the title balance due showing the amount owed by each student. So it's important that we read those instructions carefully because we are not required to highlight the entire table. We're not required to highlight the entire spreadsheet. They don't want to see the entire spreadsheet in a column chart. They only want to see the balance that is owed or the balance that is due for each student. All right. So what we'll do in order to create that chart, students, we'll highlight from student names straight down to the last name of the person displayed in the spreadsheet, right? So from the heading student names to the last person's name right here, we want to also highlight the column with balance due, come straight down to the last figure aligned to the last person, right? So what we do to select both cells, as we don't want to select the information in the middle, we just want to select this section and this section. So we're going to press and hold the control key, and we're going to click from balance view, and we're going to bring down, we're going to highlight only these two columns, all right? So now we're going to actually insert the column chart that they required of us. Right? We go to columns. So you said columns, we can use the basic simple one, the first one, right? We click it, and as we see, chart has been displayed. So you can change up the style of the chart and all of that. I'm not going to go through that, right? The heading is there, or the chart title is there. You can apply the axis title, all of that, all right? You can do all of that afterwards, all right? So hope we have been good thus far, right? As it relates to the spreadsheet, the letter, the speed test questions. All right. So let's move on. So let's look at the 2023 paper, students. Now, the 2023 paper, as we see, question 2, a letter, right? So we have a letter right here. This letter should be typed in block style, meaning everything is aligned to the left. All elements are aligned to the left. Same, you have a letterhead, right? With the name of business, telephone number, email address, and the actual address. You're required to insert a logo, just as we did with the 2018 people, right? They wanted to type the letter below, right? And they want it to be 1 inch all around. So, rather easy instruction, rather simple instruction for you. Because remember, the document is by default on 1 inch all around. All right. So, this is the letter down here. You just follow the instruction. You see today's date here. It should actually be over here. As we said, it's a block style, meaning everything is aligned to the left. It's in manuscript form, so you're going to make the necessary changes, the necessary corrections. All right. So I'm just going to quickly scroll through. Here again, complementary clause, however it should be to the left. Block style letter. All right. So just remember that, students, as you go through the exam. All right. Question 2B, you see I have an information sheet, basically like a form to fill out. All right. They're saying down here, add the following questions and insert a text box for yes and no. Right. So they basically want you to create two boxes, right, for a person to check yes or no. Right. Basically, that's what you'll do. everyone must know how to find text box, right? You go to insert and you go to text box, right? Basically some squares or some rectangles, you can say, right? That you would actually check, all right? So they want you to create that. Now they want you to create it using leaders, right? Using leader dots. Let me just remind persons who may not remember how you get leader dots about that. All right. So leader dots is found under the tabs feature, right? So we'll go to paragraph, we'll go to tabs down here, and as you see, it says leader. All right. So let's say we're going to set a tab stop position at 5 inches away from the margin. We're going to use dotted, right? As it's a leader. We select set, right? And we select OK. So let's say we have name right here. We press tab, it will automatically give us a series of dots until it reaches 5 inches away from the margin, and you can continue to insert information, right? That is required. So it's basically the same thing that you will do when you want to easily prepare a table of contents without actually having to type the dots, all right? Basically, all right? So let me go back to the question. All right, so basically that's for the information sheet. Let's continue. All right, the next question on the 2023 paper, notice of a meeting, right? Now, a notice of a meeting, I think that would be a document that you would have gotten as an SBA component maybe, right? Chairman's agenda. Remember those documents, right? Those meeting documents, notice, chairman's agenda, minutes of a meeting, right? So you must have been exposed to those documents, right? So you follow the instruction, you type as seen, all right? The next question was a PowerPoint, all right? We talked about PowerPoint in the previous question, all right? Many persons must be familiar with PowerPoint, all right? Well, the question four is spreadsheet question. So just going to do the spreadsheet question for you. All right. We basically fill out the information already, but we know that the critical part is actually to apply formula in order to find totals or to carry out calculations. Now, upon doing this, basically, right, typing out this information, you know, this is 3 columns of information, right, as we have eye-related issues, males, and we have females. All right, so you type that as seen. Now notice they say prepare the report for the stated period using the most suitable software. They didn't tell you to use spreadsheet. Many other times they won't tell you to use spreadsheet. You have to look at the question, see what the question is asking you to do, and know what you are to actually use, what software to actually use to carry out this question. Now, things that you can use to identify what software to use. If it requires a calculation, it's spreadsheet. If it requires a graph, it is more than likely spreadsheet. All right. So upon typing up that, they are saying that you should insert a column to calculate total for each category of eye-related problems. All right. You're in a period and you're to insert a row for the total male and female. You're going to create a graph to show comparison of eye issues by gender. Right. Label the graph and include a suitable title. Place the graph on a separate sheet. All right. So those are the instructions. So I've already went ahead and created the spreadsheet. I just did not follow out with the instructions, right? I didn't carry on with the other instructions that are given, right? So first thing they said you are supposed to apply. So we're going to put total right here, right? And we're going to put total down here as well. Now, let me just border it up again. Border it up, reborder it. And I'm going to merge and center it again. So we're now you have information now from A to D instead of A to C. All right. So, you know, the total, basically you'll add up, right? So we just highlight the two, right, figures, males and females. We highlight to the total section. We're just going to press auto sum, all right? Because we're required to add them up. All right, remember the shortcut method. You put the cursor on this little green box that you see at the bottom right-hand corner of the cell that we got the answer in, the total cell, right? Or the total section, right? We're just going to click, hold, drag down, and we get the other answers. All right, we know that 9 and 7 is 16, so we don't have to worry about. It's not really big numbers where we have to worry about if it is correct or incorrect. All right, so gonna add up the total males. Auto sum just the same. We can apply the shortcut method. All right, basically, so we're completed. All right, the we've completed finding the totals using formula. Now, this section right here, you might be wondering, how did they get that to be typed in like that? Now, all you do, students, is simply just enlarge the row, right? Make the row a little larger, and you'll use wrap text. Use the wrap text feature, right? So that information will automatically come underneath within the same cell, right? So you can type out information, merge from A to C. That's what we did firstly, but you know we got to D because we added the total column, all right? So you do that, you apply the wrap text feature, enlarge the row, right? And it should be displayed appropriately, all right? So I think the next thing, let me just go back to be sure. The next thing that we're supposed to do is create a graph to show comparison of eye-related issues by gender. All right. So we're just going to highlight from eye-related issues to females. So we highlight eye-related issues, males, females, and we're going to highlight all the issues. We don't highlight the totals or the total figures. All right. So we highlight that. We go to insert. They said a graph. They didn't say specifically what type, right? So we're just going to use a column, right? Can use bar too, but we're just going to use a column, right? For demonstration purposes. All right. They said we should use a title. We should insert a title, right? As we wish, right? You know, whatever title you want to insert, it must be related, right? As they said, they want to see eye-related issues. So we can see eye-related issues by gender. We could say that for our heading. All right. They didn't give you a specific heading. They say you should make up the heading. All right. So basically, you know, formatting of it, you can do that on your own. You can toy around it on your own. All right. And change the different chart styles. All right. So basically, that's what you are required to do. The last thing they said was to place the graph on a separate thing. So I'm just going to do that. So, you know, we simply just click on the graph, we right click, we copy, we're going to put it on a different sheet by itself. All right. And there it is. You can always change the name of the sheet. If you want to call this graph, right? You can change the name of it so that we have it like that. All right. So simple thing, students. All right. So we're just going to stop there for the video. I hope you have been enlightened, all right, by what we have went through thus far. All right. We have given you some key tips, right? Things to expect going into the exam. And I hope by now you are a little more prepared going into the paper 2 of the EDPM exam. So best of luck to everyone, right? As said from before, I'm the EDPM boss, right? Subscribe to my channel, right? There'll be more videos posted, you know, just to give you some assistance going into the exam, right? For the paper 1, I'll be doing a video, right? Go through the questions, go through the paper 1 questions and, you know, the actual answers. You know, there are some videos are out there already, but, you know, we're going to try to make our video entertaining so that, you know, you can actually remember, recall some of the questions as the paper. Sometimes the questions actually repeat. All right. So, all right, everyone. So best of luck on your exams. Have a good night. Ensure you get a good night's rest. As you know, it's an early morning exam, 9 o'clock exam. So ensure that you reach to the exam on time, right? Or before time, I should say, right? And ensure that you reach at the exam on time, ensure that you have your ID cards, you have your timetable, right? And all of that. Right? And just relax. The exam will be manageable. You will be able to do well on the exam and get the grade that you desire. All right. So take care now, everyone, and thanks for joining.